Hey everyone, my name is Sarah. I write the MommaCrafty blog, and this is actually going to be my very first vlog. My vlogs, whereas my blogs are kind of about different research, some of my activist opinions. My vlog is going to be about my personal life, things that are going on, how my doula certification is going, and things like that. Today, what I'd like to share with you is my experience with the midwife who is going to be helping me attain my birth for certification. She's a very nice person. I find that most people who are in the the birth community are very nice people, especially the midwives. And she's a holistic home birth midwife. She's got a very hands-off approach, feeling that the mother can give birth. And the more people there are to birth, more often the longer it's going to take a woman to give birth and dilate. She feels that birth should be a sacred, intimate moment between husband and wife, or whoever your partner is. And I have to agree. I feel like though it should be a sacred, intimate event for your entire family. So if you have other children or other really close family that you would like to be in attendance, please feel free to have them there. For instance, when Derek and I, when we have our next child, we will have Jude present. And there are a number of different books and resources that you can look for on information on how you can make it a comfortable experience for the children, and how you can avoid scaring them, more specifically. But anyway, this midwife, she's going to have me go to birth as her assistant. So I'll probably have a little bit less of the hands-on doula, comforting measures sort of thing than I would like. But I'm still going to be there to comfort the mom. But it's going to be more like, hey, here, have some juice. I've got the straw right here. Do you need a washcloth? Can I get you this? Blah, blah, blah. Which is pretty important. But because it's also going to be home birth, I'm likely to be doing dishes, which is definitely very helpful for women when they're in labor. But I will be helping the midwife keep things clean, set up for a birth, clean up after a birth. It'll be a pretty empowering experience, I think, and it'll be really good for my confidence to be working with someone who really knows what they're doing in a setting that I'd like to work in. Which is another thing that's come up for me. With all the research I've been doing, the books I've been reading, documentaries I've been watching, it's kind of come to my attention that I want to be a midwife. Initially, I did not think that I wanted to follow that path because I wasn't really interested in the medical aspects of the birth. I didn't want to be responsible for delivering an infant. But at this point, I kind of feel like that's the part of the birth that I find most fascinating. And as a midwife, you can still have doula properties to your care. You can still offer the massage for comfort, and you can still, of course, offer the juice, things like that. Just because you're a midwife, you're not restricted to looking at her vagina. You're just not. So as soon as I get my doula certification covered, and probably before then I'll start getting books, reading what I can, I'm going to begin my process of becoming an apprentice midwife. And I'm really excited about this. I'm overjoyed and kind of nervous, but really excited. It's going to be a really good experience. I'm really glad that as a doula working with this midwife, I'm going to get the experience at the home births, kind of get a feel for what that's going to be like. That way when I go into it, it's not like, I don't know what to do, oh my god. But we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. I also recently watched the documentary The Business of Being Born, which I thought was amazing. It was the research that they demonstrated and the births that they showed were just so powerful, and you get a very good grasp on how birth is different for everyone. You saw women who were laboring very calmly and quietly, and you saw women who were screaming through their labors and clearly in a lot of pain. But it was very consistent that after every labor, the moms were like, wow, I can't believe I did that. That was amazing. If I can do that, I can do anything. And it's like, wow, yeah. If you can't do that, you can do anything. That's spectacular. I also really appreciated that they had the cesarean birth at the end of the documentary. That was a very good addition to the film, I think. And it kind of added to that attitude that the film had the entire time, saying that midwives can be used for all normal pregnancies and deliveries, and that the use of obstetricians really isn't necessary in every single delivery, because they're surgeons. They're trained to be surgeons, and they should be performing surgeries. But back on topic, I appreciated the cesarean because it just said, see, we know that sometimes an obstetrician is necessary. Sometimes that's what a birthing mother is going to need. Sometimes that's what's going to save a baby's life. And now the mother, of course, said that she was sure that the baby would have been fine if he had been born vaginally, but he was a breech, and I, of course, feel that breech can be born vaginally. But given the circumstances and that baby had the issues that it did, I was glad it was included. And I really wish that obstetricians would feel the same way about it. You know, that midwives are good too. And I'm not saying that all obstetricians are completely closed off to the idea of midwives. But you will find that there are a lot of obstetricians who do not believe in home birth and do not believe in midwives. And I think that's really sad, because more often than not, it seems that if you end up in a hospital for your birth, you're going to have a lot of interventions. And that's really unfortunate, because the interventions are likely to ruin your birth experience. For instance, let's say you're in a lot of pain, you're dilated at about 2 centimeters, and then you're like, oh, I want the epidural. You get the epidural, and it slows your labor. That's really unfortunate. Getting an epidural early will really likely slow your labor. So now they have to augment with Pitocin because you're not following their schedule the way they want you to. So they augment with the Pitocin, and suddenly your epidural is not enough. So you start some narcotics. You up the epidural, and now your labor is still progressing slowly. The Pitocin isn't working. There's nothing they can do. Your labor's not progressing. The baby's in distress, and you have to get a C-section, and that's really unfortunate. And that doesn't even cover the fact that oxytocin, the hormone that is credited with causing the contractions and a big flush of it you get at the end of your birth, you won't get it. You won't get as much of it if you're on the Pitocin, because it's a synthetic hormone, and it doesn't do the same thing. It's not a love hormone, which is what helps us bond with our babies when they're born. So I think it's really sad. It's really sad that midwives are given such a short end of the stick. Now, I don't think that midwives have to practice specifically in home births. I am all for midwives practicing in birth centers and even in hospitals. But I think the farther away you are from the hospital, the better off you're going to be. Not distance-wise, I just mean delivery-wise. If you're in a hospital, it's not going to be as good as a birth center. And you'll find oftentimes that there are birth centers attached to hospitals or just a couple minutes away from hospitals, so there's really not a whole lot of danger in doing it. As long as you're birthing with a trained midwife who knows when you're in trouble and can get you there. But you'll also find that midwives do have a lot of tools to help with a lot of different things that could possibly go wrong. I mean, it's not like she doesn't have any medical equipment. She does carry Pitocin in case of hemorrhage. She has everything to stitch tears. She comes prepared. It's not some barbaric done in a cave with nothing experience. It's a good one. So I think that that's a pretty powerful thing. We also watched Gentle Birth Choices, which was something that I had to watch for my doula certification, and it was very powerful as well. The research, the numbers, the birth. It's just so amazing to watch people give birth. Um, and I appreciate that they were willing to give up that privacy so that other people could possibly learn from them. But yeah, pretty exciting. Um, on the subject of that midwife that I will be working with, assisting, she had a couple requirements that I have to meet. The big requirement, amusingly, I have to be able to cook eggs. Yes, eggs. Um, and that's fine because eggs are protein packed. There's no denying it. And a lot of women, really want eggs apparently after they deliver because of the protein. Um, but I thought it was funny that that was one of the requirements. But apparently, she had an assistant once who was with her when a mom asked for scrambled eggs. And the assistant didn't know how to scramble eggs, and the midwife was busy, and so it was kind of not good. But apparently, a common thing that she suggests to her patients is a peanut butter honey banana sandwich and a scrambled egg. I can scramble eggs. I can cook just about anything, honestly. Not to toot my own horn, but I can. um, but the thing about scrambling eggs, I'm a vegetarian, and I don't like eggs because they're chicken periods, and it makes me uncomfortable to eat them. They're the one thing outside of the meat spectrum that I will not use. I will not use any product that has egg in it. I will not bake with eggs. I don't even particularly like looking at eggs because it's just gross eggs, and kind of sad because chickens are so mistreated. But we'll get into that another time. So I have to cook eggs, and it's not really a big deal because I don't need to push my opinion on anyone, especially women who have just given birth. Really, if you want an egg, please, you can have an egg. Eat lots of eggs, go ahead. Chow down. You were in labor, you had a baby. That's crazy. But I guess that's something that I'm going to have to work on and get over the discomfort there. So I guess that's it for this vlog, and I will catch up with you again in a little while. You guys have good weekends!